The first ever pep rally takes place at Texas A&M University-San Antonio. Find out how it went. March is migration month for monarch butterflies, and the San Antonio Zoo holds a festival about them. More on this later. And in sports, the softball Jaguars visit the Cardinals of Incarnate Word, and March Madness crowns a new NCAA champion. Hi, my name is Nilse Hernandez. Welcome to Enlace. Today we're outside of the Mad Lab building where we'll bring you the latest in campus and community news. The university hosted its first ever pep rally for students and the community to help celebrate National Athlete Day. Our reporter Garcia brings us more on the story.
History has been made on April 6, 2021, when A&M-San Antonio hosted their first Generals Growl pep rally to celebrate their athletes on National Athlete Day. The community was encouraged to go see and hear about what the progress and upbringing of the athletics program was doing for the school and the students who were participating in these sports. Girls softball, men's golf, and esports were introduced by their coaches one at a time as they crossed the stage and received a President's Citation of Excellence in Athletics. This experience has some team members excited about being a part of a Jaguar sports team for the first time on campus.
It was truly an amazing experience. We have such an engaging community here at A&M-San Antonio, and we had a lot of great activities for all the student athletes, the students, and even the parents who showed up. I really appreciate it, and I'm so proud to be a part of the A&M-San Antonio inaugural athletic class. Go Jaguars!
Esports player Ivana Mayberry was also excited about being a part of the pep rally and what lies ahead for the university's program. She states, "Being here at the first pep rally was really cool and a nice experience to have. We're making history by being the first ones here, and I hope in the future it'll be a bigger deal with more people, so I'm excited to see what will happen in the future." Not only did the rally have the presenting of the athletes, but performances including the Petite High School Band, various mascots, the Jaguarettes, and the learning of the fight song were scattered throughout the time to encourage Jaguar school spirit. Many of these students can now say that they were a part of the university's first pep rally, and as years go on, the program will continue growing and have more events just like this again. For Enlace, this was Garcia.
April is Autism Awareness Month. Our reporter Katelyn Silva spoke with the coordinator of Applied Behavioral Analysis to discuss what the school is doing for World Autism Day and World Autism Month.
I spoke with Bernice De La Cruz, Assistant Professor and Program Coordinator for Applied Behavior Analysis Program, about what the university did for World Autism Day on Friday, April 2nd. I also found out how students can be involved throughout the whole month of April for autism awareness.
You could just please tell me, and of course the students, about Autism Awareness Day that is coming up on Friday, and what the university is doing as far as lighting up blue for the first time.
Yes, of course. Well, we're actually going to be celebrating the whole month of April. So April is World Autism Month. And as you said, specifically Friday, April 2nd is World Autism Day. And we are going to be participating in that this year through different education opportunities. And one of the things we are doing, like you mentioned, is lighting up the campus blue. And so we definitely encourage people to drive by the campus and take some pictures and post them, really in support of individuals with autism. And, really an opportunity for us to really stand together for all people. But we are going to be hosting other events. They're mostly going to be online because of COVID. But for example, today I was able to visit one of the local schools through our partnerships. And I was able to interview one of the students there with autism. And so one of the ways we want to educate the community and be supportive of autism in our community is by getting to know the people that live in our community that are impacted by autism. And that's a really good way to be part of this month in April. And so to be able to reach out, see how we interact, and it's really about educating ourselves and educating our community. And then hopefully also bringing together those resources. We already have so many things in place that can really support people with autism across their lifespan in San Antonio. And so really being able to connect people to those resources.
Yes, and what would you say is a good way for students to be involved within the autism community, even if they don't have somebody that is affected. What is a good way for them to just, be involved and be aware?
I think really being aware that you might actually be going to school with an individual who has autism. And, it's not, autism is one of those disabilities that's not obvious. It's not like you can tell just by looking at someone that they have autism. But, they might be acting a little different. Their socialization, their communication is different than we might expect. And I think, like with anybody else, just being kind to one another and taking that extra step that sometimes we just need to give somebody a little bit more time to respond, or maybe we need to try to interact with them in a different way. Maybe they weren't open to having specific conversation about something, but we can find a way to communicate about something that they like, and that's how we begin to build that friendship. And really, I think that's one of the powers that we have, is that in any interaction that we have with another person, that's an opportunity to show kindness and then have growth for ourselves. So that's one way. And another way is getting involved in our community. At the university, we're really starting to grow in our programs and our outreach to the autism community here in San Antonio. And so I know that there are opportunities with different professors and different programs to get involved at the school level, but also knowing and getting connected with the community. There's a lot of nonprofits out there doing some amazing work, and it would be a wonderful opportunity for students to be able to go and learn and also just make a difference. The nonprofits, I worked in nonprofit for many years, and we're always, trying to do the maximum amount we can with our money. So whenever we can get some volunteers, get them some experience, they help us to really meet that mission, and then they learn from that. So it's a win-win. So really getting involved, I think, is key.
Texas A&M University-San Antonio was designated as a voter-friendly campus during March. Emily Alvarez tells us more on what this means for the community.
Texas A&M-San Antonio University begins this spring as a designated voter-friendly campus, and students are voicing their opinions.
We've been lacking a lot of resources out here in the south side especially, and the fact that A&M has been able to have that opportunity to be a voter-friendly campus is such an amazing thing.
Overall, I think it's a fantastic opportunity for students here on campus, for students to stay engaged with not only local elections but at a national level, but just as well, how is it that we grow from these conversations we're having right here.
Voter-friendly means that the campus is successfully engaging students in elections. So how did TAMUSA obtain this status? Aaron Guerrero, the Civic Engagement Coordinator at the May Center, explained the process.
And so we have a voter plan in an effort to get out the voter registration, to make sure that our students were all registered voters, as well as making sure that our students were aware of what they needed to be aware of, where the polling locations were. We were able to give them a lot of information like that.
Political science professor Sarah Kupcho believes it's great news for students and the city.
The south side of San Antonio is typically one of the least likely areas to go get out and vote. So having a voter-friendly campus on that area is really very beneficial for the community.
Reporting for Enlace, this has been Emily Alvarez.
After the break, more on the effect the pandemic's had on recording equipment sales. Welcome back. With more people working from home due to COVID-19, the sales of video and audio equipment has increased in the last year. Derek Dixon talked to a local shop owner to discuss how this affected his business.
The equipment used to capture video and audio is a thing most of us take for granted. But in a time where human contact is at an all-time low due to a virus, these once looked over pieces of tech are now more important than ever. And that concludes my 50-part audio series on Sonic the Hedgehog. So how exactly has COVID affected the world of video and audio recording? Please like and subscribe. With the world of Zoom meetings becoming the norm, things like cameras and recording equipment have changed from luxuries bought by hobbyists to necessities. This spike in buying has actually helped City-Based Music, a local audio equipment shop, stay afloat during uncertain times.
We've had a lot of customers that have come in and helped me through COVID. So when my pro players and my faithfuls come in and they're buying strings and cables that I know are going to be thrown into the accessory box. It's that dedication that kept us alive.
But it's not all positive. Due to the massive amount of people forced to work from home, the pandemic created a shortage in webcams. Not only that, but financesonline.com reports that almost a third of purchases of last year's Amazon Prime Day were electronics.
Individuals doing all these Zoom sessions. So if you're doing Zoom, you have to have a camera and you need to have good audio equipment. And also with students having to do Zoom sessions now, needing cameras, not all their laptops and not all the computers that they had at home were fixed with video. So they had to go out and buy this video.
A study by Edison Research reported that 40% of people increased their podcast listening habits during COVID restrictions. And as interest in podcasts increases, so does the sales of the equipment used to produce them, which further drives up scarcity.
Anytime you increase demand, supply has a hard time trying to catch up, especially when it goes like that.
But with vaccines here and an end to COVID seeming nearer, we'll just have to see if video and audio equipment sales can go back to somewhat normal. This is Derek Dixon Jr. with Jaguar Student Media, once again answering the big question of what exactly is the big deal. Enlace.
The San Antonio Zoo held the Monarch Festival to show the importance of the monarch butterfly. Our reporter Lizbeth Perez brings us more on this story.
Hello and welcome everybody. I'm Lizbeth Perez and today I'll be talking to you about what happened at the Monarch Festival at the San Antonio Zoo. This festival is aimed to educate the community about the importance of conserving the monarchs and ways they are able to do so, specifically during the month of March. Due to it being the migrational time for monarchs, they naturally fill up our skies and environment with their presence. Vice President Hope Roth tells us more on the activities that were available in this 2-day weekend festival.
From the reading of A Hungry Caterpillar by Eric Carle, the children's book, to actually getting to see those butterflies up close and personal, and also learning about the different stages that a butterfly goes through.
Since one of the main goals from the zoo is to educate, they were sure to incorporate activities that would be fun and informational for the people. One of these activities includes making seed bombs, made out of soil, clay, wildflower seeds, and water, which are then rolled into a ball and can be placed anywhere in nature to bring nourishment to monarchs. Director of Education from the San Antonio Zoo, Lisa Townsend, and Guest Encounters Assistant Manager, Jessica Wolonsky, give us an insight to what makes this butterfly special to our ecosystem.
Also serve as a flagship species. So what that means is that not only are we helping monarchs when we help monarchs, we're also helping bees and all the other pollinators that people don't find as beautiful or cute.
The San Antonio Zoo is partnered with the Monarch Joint Venture Organization to help spread the importance of the monarch butterfly and show people the ways they can help them. You can also donate through their website to continue conserving this one-of-a-kind butterfly. This is Lizbeth Perez with Enlace News.
When we come back, find out how the Jaguars did against the Cardinals of Incarnate Word. This and more in Jaguar Sports.
Buenas y bienvenidos a Jaguar Sports, los saluda Alejandro Diaz, listo como siempre para traerles lo mejor de la información deportiva. Pitazo inicial y arrancamos con el softball de las Jaguars de A&M-San Antonio que venían de su debut victorioso como locales ante la Universidad de Southwest. Pues bueno, ahora se medían ante la Universidad de Incarnate Word. Veamos cómo les fue. Las Jaguars de A&M-San Antonio visitaron a las Cardenales de la Universidad de Incarnate Word para un doblete el 7 de abril en el H-E-B Field de Incarnate Word. En el primer juego, Eve Rodríguez fue la pitcher titular para las Jaguars, que lograron mantener el 0 en el marcador luego del primer inning. Sin embargo, el poder de bateo de las Cardenales fue demasiado para las Jaguars y pronto se pusieron adelante anotando carreras en los siguientes 5 innings para lograr una victoria contundente por 7-0 en el primer juego. El entrenador de las Cardenales, Joe DiPietro, estaba satisfecho por haber podido darle juego a aquellas jugadoras que no siempre tienen la oportunidad de salir al campo.
You know, I think we did some really good things. One of the things is we got everybody an opportunity to play today, which really doesn't happen that often, and we have a large roster, so it was great to be able to get some kids that haven't been on the field often, a chance to play tonight. So I think that was a good thing.
Ya en el segundo juego, las Cardenales continuaron con el poder a la ofensiva con 13 imparables y se fueron adelante en el marcador por 7-0. Y cuando todo indicaba que sería otra blanqueada para las Jaguars, Vanessa Garcés logró un hit en el sexto inning que le dio vida a las de A&M-San Antonio. Luego fue Cameron Casares con el hit al jardín izquierdo para que anotaran Garcés y Penélope García. Y finalmente, Gabby Mitchell batió este imparable por el centro, impulsando a Casares para la última carrera de las Jaguars, que despertaron, pero fue muy tarde. Al final, las Cardenales se llevaron el segundo juego por 7-3. Nicole Dufour, entrenadora de las Jaguars, resalta las cosas positivas de estos juegos.
The thing is that we just got to learn. We got to get better from everything, good and bad, and we're only going to do that if we face tough competition. Our bats woke up. They just woke up a little bit too late, and those are just some things that you can't do against a good team like UIW.
Las Jaguars ahora se van para Hawkins, Texas, donde se enfrentarán a la Universidad de Jarvis Christian. Para Enlace, Alejandro Diaz. Pasamos ahora a la acción de la NBA, donde los Spurs de San Antonio no levantan cabeza. Y es que los hombres de Popovich cayeron ante los Nuggets de Denver por 106-96 y ya suman 4 derrotas al hilo. Los Spurs tuvieron un buen comienzo y lideraban al final del primer cuarto 32-30. Sin embargo, Nikola Jokic tomó el control del juego para los Nuggets, que retomaron la ventaja en el segundo cuarto y ya no miraron atrás. DeJounte Murray y Derek White se reportaron ambos con 18 puntos, para los Spurs, que ahora caen a la 9ª posición de la Conferencia del Oeste. Y siguiendo con el baloncesto, la NCAA coronó a su nuevo campeón el lunes en la noche en el Lucas Oil Stadium de Indianápolis. Los Osos de Baylor lograron el primer campeonato en su historia luego de vencer a los Bulldogs de Gonzaga de manera contundente por 86-70. Baylor lideró el juego de principio a fin y llegó a tener una ventaja de 19 puntos en la primera mitad. Gonzaga buscaba ser el primer campeón invicto desde 1976, pero fueron dominados por los Osos de Baylor, de Jared Butler y compañía. Butler, por cierto, anotó 22 puntos y además ganó el premio al mejor jugador del Final Four. Y bueno, antes de irme continuando con el baloncesto universitario de la NCAA, pero ahora el femenino, las muchachas de Stanford lograron su primer título nacional en 29 años, luego de derrotar en la final a Arizona por 54-53. Final que, por cierto, se jugó aquí en el Alamo Dome de San Antonio. Las Cardenales de Arizona llegaron a liderar hasta por 9 puntos, hasta que las Wildcats, lideradas por Ari McDonald, recortaron distancias hacia el final del juego, pero no les alcanzó. Para las Cardenales de Stanford, Haley Jones se erigió como la líder del equipo, anotando 17 puntos. Bueno, y eso es todo lo que les tenía para hoy, pero nos vemos la próxima con más de Jaguar Sports. And after the break, Santa Perez brings us a new episode of Have You Seen This Yet?
Welcome back. The winter storm damaged a lot of the plants around campus. Emily Alvarez brings us more on what the school is doing to protect the affected vegetation.
Campus plants at Texas A&M-San Antonio University saw days of freezing temperatures and snow during the winter storm, leaving a lot of missing plants, bare trees, and brown leaves. The community on campus has taken notice with varying outlooks from students and staff.
Yeah, they took a hit with the cold weather that we had, but it's just it shows in some of the green that's still available the persistence.
A little sad, but it's climate. I mean, there's nothing that can do to say no.
Dr. Rodolfo Valdez, an ecology professor at A&M-San Antonio, explained how the plants on campus affect the community.
We are very interconnected with them, and one of the goals is not just to have plants on our campus because they look pretty, is to have functional landscapes where we're not just a place where you come to study, but when you're walking around, we're giving you plants that would make you feel comfortable.
Campus plants have been trimmed or removed depending on the damages.
Dr. Valdez also explained how the university will be moving forward from this event.
I think there's a lot we can learn and then try to make landscapes in our campus that don't require so much maintenance and that have plants that are much better adapted. And lastly, we can see from this storm who did well and who didn't, and then maybe use that as a way to probably propagate more of the plants that actually survived.
Reporting for Enlace, this has been Emily Alvarez.
And before we leave, Santa Perez brings us a new episode of Have You Seen This Yet?
Welcome back to Have You Seen This Yet? In this episode, I'll be reviewing the latest entertainment. And as always, be prepared for spoilers. This week, we'll be giving a review for the monster action film Godzilla vs. Kong. The movie was given an international theatrical release on March 24th before making its way to the US on March 31st. It was a fun, exciting adventure that, like a lot of the best action movies, doesn't take itself too seriously and focuses more on creating proper build-up for their titular battle. The intense acting from the humans does what it can to keep audiences invested in the story, but it can be quite subpar and bland, if we're being honest, proving that the cast is simply around to provide a plot of some kind. It's obvious that the best moments would have to be the scenes Kong and or Godzilla are in prior to, during, and after their fights. This is mostly due to seeing how they interact with their surroundings and what that does to make them more than just monsters. So, Godzilla vs. Kong is certainly worth a watch for its stellar visual effects and awesome action sequences. But viewers can feel free to take a bathroom break or get a refill on snacks when it's just the human characters on screen. Godzilla vs. Kong is now playing in theaters and available to stream on HBO Max. This has been Santa Perez with Have You Seen This Yet?
That's it for this show. Thank you for watching. Remember to stay safe, wear your mask, and get your vaccine.